Chatters. I'm Nat.
And I'm Kat, and welcome to the Crime Chat. I am your forensic femme fatale. Natalie is your true crime connoisseur.
We're just two normal girls obsessed with dark crimes, evil minds, and occasionally the unknown.
And here is your disclaimer, chatters. The following crime chat will contain adult content and will have violent scenarios, so your listener discretion is advised.
You have been warned, but before we get into today's crime chat, Kat, what have you been up to?
Other than lesson plans and my own schoolwork, I did manage to sneak in the second half of Wednesday.
Me too. Okay.
Yay!
Tell me, talk to me.
But I will say this, I've only seen the first 2 episodes. Because there's 4 total, right? There was 4 in the first and 4 in the second half. Yeah. We're watching the other 2 tonight. Okay. Chris fell asleep. And it wasn't for anything other than just being tired. I mean, it wasn't like it was boring or anything like that because it's amazing.
What was the end of the second one? What was that about? It kind of all meshed together for me.
It was, so I think in the second episode, they swapped bodies. And then they started going after Tyler, the mom, the brother, a.k.a. Zombie, a.k.a. What was it? Slug? Slurp.
Yeah. You haven't seen, there's a mind-blowing twister in the next episode.
I'm not surprised. It would not surprise me.
Freaking amazing. So the first reaction when the girls got swapped the next day.
Yeah.
How freaking hilarious was Jenna Ortega's reaction when she got off the bed?
Yes.
She was screaming.
The color, too. How can somebody actually be allergic to color?
Oh, my God.
But it's so good. It was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Steve Buscemi. Great bad guy.
He really
a great
is.
bad guy
He's
character. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Love it. Absolutely love it. That's pretty much all I've done. I mean, that's it.
Yeah.
I've been in school zone trying to get ahead in my lesson plans.
Yeah.
So I'm not very last minute, which has a tendency to happen.
Yeah.
That's about it. What about you?
I did the same thing. I binge watched the entire thing, though, all 4 episodes.
Yeah.
And it is, wow. What a great series. Sometimes they just knock it out of the park like Stranger Things. Wednesday is put together so well.
Yeah.
I do have some favorites, and I do have some people that I'm really disappointed in as far as the actors are concerned. Because let's face it, the girls, the leads in that are putting on such a performance that you can kind of see the inexperience of other people. My favorite character so far is Angie. If they kill her off, we're riding.
Okay, which one is Angie?
That's how good she is. The psychopath with the red hair.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to fall in love with her.
Yeah.
That's it. You're going to sit there and say she's one of my favorites.
She's doing fantastic from what I have seen, and just she plays a psychopath well.
She does. Oh my God. And she's adorable. Her her red hair. Was the ball in your episode?
No.
So you're going to get to that.
The ball.
The gala.
Oh.
The one that Morticia's putting on. Yeah.
You know what? I did see that.
Okay. How beautiful was Angie in her green dress?
Oh, I love it. And the fact that.
With the red hair.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
The fact that she and I keep wanting to say Edie.
Enid?
Yeah. The roommate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Enid. Yes. That they did the little dance together. It was adorable. They kind of made up too, which was great.
Yeah. That's so cute.
That was cute. Now, I will say it wasn't when Chris fell asleep. I could have kept going. And I could have finished it. But I opted not to.
You're a good wife. So I think the only con I have to this is, so the sirens, the mom, in this entire thing, you realize she has said one word. She doesn't have dialogue.
Yeah.
Is there a reason for that?
Possibly. I don't know.
I got to dig a little, because I noticed she said one word.
Yeah.
I noticed. And I'm like, is she really not, has no lines here? And because there's a bigger story there with her.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's got to be a line, but no. I think the only thing that freaks me out a little bit, now the siren, what's her name? The girl who plays the siren. I love that actress.
Yeah.
She's not bald, but she's got very short hair.
Really very short hair, yeah.
Her contacts freak me out a little bit.
I know.
And I know they're trying to do it because she's a siren. She's from the sea.
Mhm.
She's got to have that, but it freaks me out.
Yeah.
Those contacts.
Yeah.
So, but other than that, that's the only cons. I mean, the contacts freak me out a little bit, but I think it's supposed to be designed in that way. And I'm disappointed that they didn't give mom lines. Like, I want dialogue from mom.
That's true. She didn't really speak too much. She just kind of does what she's supposed to do. And then when Principal Dort, Sibushimi, when he came out and called her, she kind of did like a audible,
right?
Not resisting kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I bet there is a little bit more of a story to that. That's interesting.
Well, other than that, I did pick up a new game. I just started it actually today. Red Dead Redemption Cowboy Story. So I'll let you know how that goes.
Is that a fighter one? Is it it sounds like a zombie game, honestly.
It's not a zombie game. It's a cowboy game. So it's actually like accurate to America back in the cowboy high time.
In the Wild Wild West.
In the Wild West.
Wild West.
I think it takes place in Wyoming. It starts in Wyoming.
Yeah.
And then it ventures over the states.
Okay. Which
I find really interesting because they everything is like accurate with like landscapes.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. I find it really cool. So, but that's it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So, Kat, for your intro, I think, I don't know if I know the person you're going over today.
Okay.
I see that last name. The last name does sound familiar, but I don't know the story.
Okay.
So you asked me to kind of do an origin story or give some insight to the birth of the moniker, the Black Widow Killer or the Black Widow.
Yes.
All right.
We have our little Black Widow on our screen. Do you see her? She's just hanging out.
Yes. I do. She should join. What's the clown? The scary clown and Nuggie.
Nuggie.
What are we gonna call her? Charlotte.
Aw.
Yeah.
Oh, Charlotte's Web. We do have a little Nuggie.
We do?
A little bit today. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. Well, the nickname Black Widow comes straight from the spider of the same name. Female Black Widows are famous for something creepy. After mating, they sometimes kill and eat the male. Here's the fun part. This doesn't always happen in nature, but early science books, newspapers, and campfire stories exaggerated that it was a sure thing to happen, that the men always died. By the late 1800s, people were already comparing manipulative or dangerous women to these spiders. The newspapers in the early 20th century started reporting on women who killed their husbands. The metaphor of the Black Widow was irresistible. It gave journalists a quick, dramatic way to explain the story. A woman who lured her man in, trapped him, and destroyed him, just like a spider.
Yeah, she got what she wanted from him.
Here are some of the first Black Widows spiders. And we are familiar with these two women because we covered them last season during our female serial killer episodes. The first one technically is the first Black Widow, and that is Nanny Doss, one of the first real-life killers to actually be called the Black Widow. She is also known as the Lonely Hearts Killer, and this is episode 73. Because we were trying to look for that last time, and I'm like, I gotta find out which episode this is.
Yeah.
This Black Widow found some of her victims through dating ads in the romance magazines. That's how she lured her victims in, her web. The next one, I believe you covered, which is Belle Guinness, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember?
I remember the name. And it had to have been on our female serial killer bonus episodes from last season.
Right.
The name's kind of all blur. I feel like I should know.
So freaking many. We should have a quick reference guide of the episodes. We probably should have a quick reference guide. But we do. We cover a lot of stories, and it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
So now, although she was killing decades earlier than Nanny Doss by luring her suitors to a farm between 1884 and 1908, and she was killing them for insurance money and burying the bodies on her property. The local newspapers at the time did not report her or use the words. She was later called Black Widow in a true crime novels and stories, and that's how she got it.
Yeah.
But she is considered one of the earliest examples of a Black Widow.
Yeah.
Now, fun fact, when her farmhouse mysteriously burned down in 1908, authorities found dozens of bodies, but Belle's own corpse was never proven to be there. Some people feel that she faked her death and got away with it. Is this the case you're talking about with Shane and Ryan?
Yep, that's the one that I submitted to Watcher for Ghost Files.
Okay.
Because the land is supposedly haunted. The woman who was decapitated and was supposedly the body of her, that she is going around looking for her head. Like roams the grounds.
Yeah. Oh my God. We should go.
Yes. Let's go.
All right. By the 1970s through the 1990s, the media really locked onto the Black Widow label. It sold newspapers and made TV. A woman who killed her husband wasn't just a murderer. She was a spider woman weaving a deadly web. Now, fun lesser-known facts. Even outside of murder, the term was sometimes used in crime stories. For example, jewel thief Doris Payne, born 1930, wasn't a killer at all, but some of the outlets called her a Black Widow due to her crimes, and it was just because she was charming and she used trickery to rob jewelry stores. The idea of the Black Widow didn't stay in courtrooms. It crawled onto the movie screens, TV, even comic books. One title creeped its way into a podcast. Wonder what podcast that is.
Of the story?
No, us.
Oh.
I'm going to tell you right now, okay?
Oh, it's us.
Yeah, back in the 1940s, 1950s, Hollywood had a character called the Femme Fatale. And this isn't Kat, our Crime Chat host, but she is a Femme Fatale. This means fatal woman. These characters showed up in film noir classics like Double Indemnity in 1944 and The Postman Always Rings Twice in 1946. I didn't see any of these movies. I've never seen these movies.
No.
They were called Black Widows, yet they acted the part. Women who use charm, sex, and lies to trap men, often leading them to destruction. Kat, is that you?
Well, you have to ask the men in my life. I haven't killed or eaten anybody, so.
All right, good. Another fun fact, Barbara Stanwyck, who played Phyllis in Double Indemnity, wore a cheap-looking blonde wig on purpose so she could appear fake and dangerous. And that wig helped cement the classic The Deadly Woman look in pop culture. So, like, with the red lipsticks, the blonde hair, like the whole...
Well, that just reminds me of Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah, but she's not a Black Widow.
Well, no, she's not, but I'm just saying, like, that look.
Yes, yeah. By the 1980s through the 2000s, true crime TV shows picked up the label and ran with it. Shows like Forensic Files, Snapped, and Deadly Women loved to frame entire episodes around Black Widow cases. Producers leaned into the spider theme, dark webs, shady rooms, and creepy narrations about women weaving their deadly traps. Lesser known fact, I didn't know this. Snapped was never supposed to be about killers. It was planned as a show about women who fought back, and after one episode of them covering a female killer, audiences were hooked and they wanted more, and they changed the entire premise of the show to just highlight women who snapped. Yeah.
Because you could see it this as snapped being, I want to say a negative connotation, but like they just snapped. I mean, usually when they just snapped isn't necessarily mean a positive thing.
Right.
It's usually some sort of like, the cuppeth overfloweth.
Yes. So then came the world of superheroes. Marvel introduced its Black Widow character, Natasha Romanoff, in 1964, right in the middle of Cold War.
Of course.
At first, she was written as a Russian spy, seductive, manipulative, and deadly. Over time, especially after her first movie appearance in Iron Man 2, she was rewritten into a hero. Still dangerous, but fighting for the good guys. So initially, she was a bad person. She was a villain. She's not a villain anymore.
That's like what they did with Spring-Heeled Jack.
Oh, yeah.
When the folklore of his story was written into these Penny Dreadful in comic books, he was written as a villain, and then he became a hero.
Right. Oh, my God. Okay. So also, we just went over another case like that. The Alfred Packer. He went from a cannibal, and they started naming grills after him in restaurants. and the college ended up changing the name of their grill on the college camp. Who does that? Only Colorado.
Bon appetit.
So now, by this stage, the term Black Widow wasn't just about real serial killers or real killers anymore. It had become a cultural symbol, a shortcut to describing women who were beautiful, mysterious, and deadly at the same time. The phrase Black Widow continues to stick because it plays on deep fears and stereotypes. One, the spider factor. Arachnophobia, maybe? I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Could be, right?
Yeah.
The image of a female spider eating her mate is horrifying, and it's a story that will spread if it's, it's just very odd behavior. I don't know.
Yeah.
A spider.
Well, we did the Granny Ripper that was in Russia. Tomorrow, Samsonova, we did Leonardo Chinchilli. Those were both cannibals, but it wasn't their mates, their lovers that they.
Right.
Oh,
right.
I know which one it was. The Thanksgiving Day one, we did the Egyptian beauty queen.
Yes.
She did kill.
She ate him though, or she just put his head in a tinfoil.
She never admitted it, but there was evidence of it.
There was. Okay.
Yes.
Ooh. Number 2, role reversal. People have long seen women as wives and mothers, ones who nurture and protect. And we still are all those things. But you can also add murders to it too. I mean, it's not one thing or the other. A woman can be all these things. That's the scary part. But a woman who murders her husband flips the idea upside down, which shocks people and guarantees attention.
Very resonant of today's story.
Yeah, cool. And the last one, the femme fatale storyline.
Yeah.
Stories about seduction and betrayal are some of the oldest around the world. From Eve in the Bible, the woman who tempts and destroys, has always fascinated readers.
Damn it, Eve.
Today, it's not just a true crime nickname, it's a pop culture archetype. At the core, the term survives because it represents society's unease with women who use love, trust, and intimacy as weapons. Whether it's a spider or a modern-day killer or Kat, the femme fatale from Crime Chat, the Black Widow remains one of the most chilling and unforgettable symbols of a dangerous femininity. And that is my intro.
Excellent. Excellent. The reason why I picked this story is there is a book that was written about her story. It came out in, I want to say in the mid to late 80s, called Widow's Web.
Oh, okay.
And so it's very kind of indicative of Black Widow. It wasn't that popular when this incident happened, but she is definitely a Black Widow.
Okay.
Well, today's story does stem from the actual actions of a brutal and conniving suburban housewife who entrapped not one, but 2 men into her web. In a town just outside of Little Rock, Arkansas, 2 murders just over a year apart would unravel the truth. One victim, her husband. The other, her lover's wife. More than 2 decades later, after years of denial, Mary Lee Orsini, she goes by Lee, had a deathbed confession and finally answered so many questions.
Oh, wow. That's so evil.
You want to get into what happened with this Black Widow?
Yes.
Okay, so Mary Lee Orsini, Lee, she was born Mary Myrtle Hatcher, August 17th, 1947 in Searcy, Arkansas, to parents Henry, who raised cattle on nearby land in Gravel Ridge, and mom Julia. She was a school cafeteria worker and school bus driver. Lee also had 2 siblings in her family. I wasn't really able to track that down and find out who they were, but that's okay. There was 2. And her family was pretty poor. Although she would give others the impression that she was a very refined, elegant, desirable society girl. She grew up near the back gate of Little Rock Air Force Base, Arkansas, and attended high school at Sylvan Hills in North Little Rock. She would drop out in the 10th grade, where she soon began to call herself Mary Lee, and then just Lee. When Lee was 16, she married Douglas Sudbury on December 22nd, 1963. Douglas was stationed at Little Rock Air Force Base and eventually got reassigned to California. So the couple moved. They got divorced. They remarried July 14th, 1966, and then got divorced again in 1967. They did have 1 daughter Tiffany, who was born the year that they were divorced in 1967. Now, Lee and Tiffany, they moved back to North Little Rock, and Lee worked as a newspaper sales representative for the Arkansas Democrat. It's the state's newspaper of record. Keep a nugget in that.
Okay.
A former employee who worked with her there would later testify that Lee was pretty and had a nice personality. She was likable. She was kind of an average employee, but she wasn't overly talkative, and they had no problems with her. She conformed. In 1971, she married David Raymond May of North Little Rock, but it was short-lived. She left 6 months later, and then they were divorced within the next 3 months. And then in 1976, Lee met Roy Orsini, a partner at a central heating and air company in the Mablevale area, which is just southwest of Little Rock. Roy and Lee married on September 17th of 1976. And the three of them, Roy, Lee, and daughter Tiffany, moved to a quiet and pleasant Indiana Hills suburb of North Little Rock. Roy was considered a respectable man, loving father, loving husband. The Orsini family was well liked, and Roy worked very hard for his family. On the morning of March 21st, 1981, Roy, who was 38 at the time, had an early morning appointment with a client 60 miles away. So it was typical for Roy, when he had like early morning appointments, that he would go to bed alone. He would sleep in the master bedroom, and Lee would sleep in Tiffany's room with her. He did this because he didn't want to wake them up. He'd set his alarm for 4 o'clock in the morning, so he just didn't want to disturb them.
Considerate.
Yeah. And also he wanted to get ahead of morning traffic, so that's why it was kind of maybe set a little bit earlier. Lee, who was 35 at the time, and Tiffany, who was 13, they stayed in Tiffany's room. So the night before, around 9 p.m., Roy kissed them both goodnight and went to bed. Neither Lee nor Tiffany heard Roy's alarm clock that morning, and they didn't hear anything else. Lee woke up that morning as normal, about 7 o'clock. She and Tiffany had breakfast, and then Lee walked Tiffany to school. When Lee returned home, she began to do her normal housework, first downstairs, and then she started to make her way upstairs. When she got upstairs, she found the master bedroom door was shut. And this was a little odd because when Roy left early mornings, he left the door open. He had no reason to keep it shut. So Lee tried to open the door, and it was locked. Thinking that Roy overslept or maybe he was sick, she was calling out his name, knocking on the door, trying to get his attention, but there was no response. She tried to bust into the door by herself, and she wasn't able to, so she ran next door, grabbed her neighbor, Glenda Bell. Glenda came over. Together, they did manage to open the door. Lee walked in, and she screamed. Now, what she saw, and what Glenda saw, was Roy laying on the bed in his pajamas with a gunshot wound to the head.
Oh, my God.
Lee is panicking, freaking out, as somebody would normally do under these circumstances.
Yeah.
Glenda had called the police, and they arrived very quickly. Within minutes, it was reported. Now, as police began to search the crime scene area, they found a .38 caliber Smith & Wesson pistol, the revolver. It was in a closed drawer several feet away.
Oh, okay.
The lead investigator knew that it would be impossible for Roy to have shot himself in the back of the head, go over, place the gun in the drawer, and then go back to bed and die.
Yeah.
So later, police found out about the bullet that killed Roy had been from a Colt .38 caliber and not a Smith & Wesson.
Okay.
So that was a little bit of a difference. So as they're searching the area, they also found that the bedroom door, the front door, and all of the windows in the house were locked from the inside. The alarm clock that was set for 4 a.m. likely went off, but it had been run down. I imagine it was like a wind-up clock and it just died because it kept going off. You know, what kind of surprises me, though? If they're in the upstairs, and I don't know this for sure. I mean, it's possible that Tiffany's bedroom was downstairs. But even if Tiffany gets up at 7 o'clock in the morning... They both get up at 7 o'clock in the morning, and maybe the alarm is still going off. I don't know how long it takes for them to die. I don't remember how long it takes for wind-up clocks to die, but I don't know how they wouldn't hear it.
I don't know how
it's still going off when they get up.
Or a gunshot, right?
There's a little bit of theory to that.
Oh, okay.
So what investigators were thinking is the alarm went off, but it died. So it was unclear if Roy was killed before the alarm went off or after.
Okay.
Since Lee and Tiffany hadn't heard the shot from the other bedroom, lead detective Tom Farley thought that the murder weapon might have had a silencer. Now, during Farley's investigation, he conducted interviews of Roy's relatives, co-workers, and actually even looked into Lee. But what he found was that Roy and Lee, quote, led blameless lives and had been devoted to each other and their daughter, end quote.
Okay.
So the case was kind of at a dead end. No Webb was yet to be found.
Mm-hmm.
He was unable to find anyone who had a motive to kill Roy, and it was actually determined Roy, like, they couldn't find anybody who didn't like him. He had no enemies.
I'm shocked that they didn't, like, just say that she did it or leaned in on her, because if that gun was put in a drawer.
Yeah. So this part of the story, because of when it happened, there's more to it.
But wait a minute. The gun in the drawer wasn't the murder weapon, you said.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So right about this time is because the book that I'm reading was published in 1986, and this happened in 1981.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't quite have the whole story. So I, internet investigator, did my best. So at the end in the book entry, it says Farley was quoted saying, "I've been involved with many homicides, but never anything like this. Any way you look at it, it belongs in a book and not in real life." So he was basically thinking the impossible was possible, that Roy killed himself somehow put the gun away. Again, like I said later, it was confirmed that it wasn't even the same weapon.
Okay.
The investigation continues. Police begin to notice inconsistencies and some curious elements to Lee's story. If I remember correctly, she changed her story like 3 times. Mm-hmm. They also uncovered financial issues due to Lee's overspending, something that they believe Roy didn't know about. As suspicions mounted, and Lee faced a grand jury hearing to possibly be indicted for the murder of her husband, she went to her attorney, Bill MacArthur. I read something that said Lee hired Bill in 1980, so the year before, to allegedly look into her husband's background, like she was being a little suspicious of her husband. Mm-hmm. But she went to her lawyer and was like, I need a defense. So in the fall of 1981, just a little bit about Bill, he became a partner for a new nightclub in the height of the urban cowboy disco craze. Mm-hmm. The club was opened in December of that year, 1981, and it was called BJ's Star-Studded Honky Tonk.
Oh, boy.
If that is not Arkansas, I don't know what the fuck is.
That's so 80s, too.
Oh, my gosh, yes. So then at the nightclub, incidents begin to happen. Weird things start to happen. For example, a suspicious fire, potentially and intentionally lit. The Pulaski County Sheriff told the news after these incidents at the nightclub that it represented an influx of organized crime in central Arkansas. So a little nugget there, too. Due to pending court proceedings, Lee was spending a significant amount of time with Bill at his office. Now, so much time that she even organized a campaign party for Bill's birthday at the office. Lee was also seen at BJ's nightclub talking to both Bill and Bill's wife, Alice. On May 21st, 1982, so this is just a little over a year after Roy was killed, Alice received cuts and abrasions when a bomb, which failed to fully detonate, was placed under her car and exploded.
Oh my God.
Now, some sources tied the explosion to the nightclub and the organized crime increase that hit the area.
Oh, okay. That's not subtle. I mean, that is, wow.
It was Tommy, Joey, and Vinny.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to say Vinny.
No, that's okay.
And then Lee also made a statement that she and Alice were on a hit list. Now, Alice survived, right? And she's like, oh, if they're after Alice, they must be after me, trying to deflect. A month and a half later, Friday, July 2nd, 1982, Alice was at her Little Rock subdivision home in Pleasant Valley packing for the holiday weekend, 4th of July. She, Bill, and several other couple friends had a trip planned to go to Hot Springs, Arkansas. Have you ever heard of Hot Springs?
I heard of the place, but I've never been there.
I kind of want to go. So Hot Springs is a resort city about 55 miles west-southwest of North Little Rock. It's set among several natural hot springs, which is how it got its name. And it's in the center of the city. It is the oldest national park in the United States. Wow. Hot Springs National Park.
Wow.
Pictures are beautiful. I'm like, wow, okay. add that to the bucket list.
Yeah.
So
Isn't
July
it crazy
2nd.
though? And not to derail. Isn't it crazy that you can travel your entire life, see something new
Yeah.
every time and never leave the United States?
True.
You can go to where it's snowy. You can go where it's a desert. You can go where it's a beach. You can go where there's mountains. We literally have every freaking thing. Is that not crazy?
Yeah.
And we don't go to any of them. What the fuck?
I was going to say, well, I guess we even have glaciers in Alaska.
That's right. And yet on a vacation, I will go outside of the United States. It's insane.
I'd love to travel and visit. I mean, I would venture to say a majority of the United States.
Yeah.
But
would you do like an RV?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. That's what I wanted to do. So speaking of national parks and, as a veteran, you get into national parks for free. I'm like, we could sell our house, get an RV, and just freaking go to anywhere and just take our time. And if you want to stay for a night, stay for a night. If you want to stay for a week, stay for a week. Like, who fucking cares?
I watched a documentary on that because it is a amazing lifestyle to have, but it's not cheaper than owning a house. Like those things, it depends on how much of glamping you want to do, because those things can run hundreds of thousands of dollars, and just the upkeep. And I would love to do it. I think my only reservation about it would be who's driving it, and I can't drive it, and Vinny would crash. So like that's the only problem. Like
then you'd have to hire a chauffeur.
Right. So then now it's become a problem.
Yeah. I would love, and I grew up traveling. Like we would always do road trips. My family, I think I told you this, upstate New York, we had our own campground on the lake. Like
it's beautiful.
It's just
that's childhood right there. We need more of that.
Yeah. Nostalgia. Okay, so back to July 2nd, 1982. Alice is home packing for the holiday weekend.
Okay.
So about 4 o'clock that day, 4 p.m., Alice reportedly answered a knock at her front door. A delivery man carrying a bouquet of flowers with a note attached that said, "Have a nice day."
Wow. That's savage.
Now, at the same time, around the same time this was happening, Lee had an appointment with Bill at his office. Apparently, Lee requested the meeting. Bill set the time. So Bill wasn't home. It was just Alice. Bill figured out Lee didn't really have any legal business to talk about, so he left the office about 4:40 p.m., and he was home just after 5 p.m. Now, this is where a little bit of the story gets I went back to court records and testimony and everything, and I couldn't quite nail it down, but I think Bill gets home. He's calling for Alice. Can't find Alice. He gets a neighbor to come and help him, or starts to panic. Well, the neighbor went in, saw a body in the master bedroom closet. It was about a 10 by 10 walk-in, nice size closet. Right. Saw legs, and there was clothing that was kind of over.
Okay.
So she comes out and she says, "Somebody needs to go in there and tell me I didn't see what I think I just saw."
Oh my God.
So it was Alice. Alice was on the floor in their bedroom closet with a gunshot wound to the head and the bouquet of flowers at her feet.
Oh my God. Oh, you gave me chills. This is a savage murder. It is. Just the "have a nice day" is just, oh my God.
Have a nice day. Oh, we need that on another shirt. Have a nice day.
With a bloody happy face.
A bloody happy face.
Yes, let's do it. Yeah.
Well, as you can imagine, Bill being a pretty prominent lawyer in the area, her murder generated overwhelming media coverage. I went through some of the back of the old newspapers trying to get, some of the details and stuff. It was endless.
Oh, boy.
Endless. There was also a circus of competing law enforcement agencies to try and take the lead on the investigation. It was kind of right there, right on the city and county line. So you've got Little Rock Police Department, and then you've got the Pulaski County Sheriff's Department. High profile, so then you've got state involved. There was a little bit of the back and forth. Plus, you have to think about, it's a lawyer's wife. Where is he practicing law? Do we need to have a disinterested party running the investigation, et cetera, et cetera? One man was arrested July 5th, so 3 days later, and the other man was arrested July 6th. But that wasn't all. On July 16th, Lee was arrested and charged with conspiracy to commit murder. She was implicated when Eugene Yankee Hall, 43, the first man that was murdered, confessed that he and Larry Darnell McClendon, 27, were hired by Lee to kill Alice.
Oh, boy.
Now, Hall said that she met Lee in the spring of 1982. He said he had been to her home 6 different occasions prior to the murder. They were intimate, and he spent several nights at her house. Hall and Lee purchased the explosive called Corvex. They placed it in a shampoo bottle, concocting a homemade bomb, essentially. And then in May, they placed it under Alice's car. There were 2 witnesses that positively identified Lee as accompanying Hall to purchase the explosive. They were in Lee's car. Another witness also said that Lee had told them a bomb is going to go off days before it actually did.
Oh, my God.
All of this is Hall confessing after he was arrested. Now, Hall said that after the bomb failed to detonate, he and Lee agreed to contract the murder. He told authorities that Lee hired him and that she promised that Bill, the husband, the lawyer, would pay $20,000 to kill Alice. $25,000 if they did it before the 4th of July.
What? She's dragging Bill in on this?
Well, maybe he is in on it.
Oh, my God. Okay.
So Lee gave Hall $325 for expenses, and she agreed she would supply the gun. It was a short-barreled .38 revolver that shot 3 unique bullets the day that Alice was murdered. They were Federal brand bullets manufactured between 1956 and 1975. And then she also supplied Hall with a florist sign and a clipboard to give the scheme a real feel. Later at trial, Dr. C.H. Waltz, he testified that he and Lee were engaged in a romantic relationship. Now, the testimony that I saw on her appeal said it was for weeks. Other documentation said it was for years. So, either way, they did it, doing the dirty. But he said he had a .38 caliber revolver that he had owned for about 11 or 12 years. Waltz discovered the revolver was missing a week before the murder, and he testified that Lee stole the weapon from him. Now, ballistics did confirm that Waltz's revolver was the actual weapon that killed Alice.
I don't understand this when somebody says, I noticed my weapon missing, and there's no follow-up like within 24 hours. Like, it went missing a week ago.
Man.
How?
80s, man.
Yeah, like my kid went missing a week ago. My car went missing a week. Like that. Like within you need to follow up like within the hour. Where it went.
Now, on the day of the murder, Hall confessed that he purchased the flowers. The florist employee confirmed later that the bouquet found at Alice's feet was the exact arrangement that she had prepared. So it was, again, tying them to the scene. And the only fingerprints that were found at the crime scene were Hall's on the bouquet. Hall said that he called Lee when he got the flowers. Lee then called Alice to confirm that she was home. Somehow there were recordings of these phone calls. Either Lee recorded them, again, this is kind of a little part that's a little sketchy to me, or because there was an attempted murder, there was the bombing at their house, it's possible that the police put like a tapping or tracing device in the home. But I do know, we'll kind of get to it, Lee did record phone conversations, which kind of would, kick the stool out from under her as she hung.
Yeah.
Either way, there were recordings of the phone call when Lee called Alice at 1:59 p.m. from her home phone. There were 2 witnesses also who listened to the recording and confirmed that was Lee's voice asking for Mama when she called Alice. Not just like, hey, it's Lee.
What's Mama?
You guys going away for... I think it was one of those phone calls to like throw them off. Like, oh, I'm sorry, you have the wrong phone number.
Oh, wow. Wow. Like, okay.
Mama?
Oh, she is calculated, this one, huh? Wow.
So Hall also said that Lee drove by where Hall and McClendon were standing by, staging, She gave them the signal as she was on her way to meet Bill for their 4 o'clock appointment. So she intentionally drove by where Hall and McClendon were. This confirmed to them that Alice was home.
Mm-hmm.
So Alice is murdered. After the murder, Hall testified that he threw the gun, the clipboard, and the florist sign into the Arkansas River. He did call Lee when it was done, and she told him, I couldn't get the money to pay you off from Bill. Oops.
Uh-oh.
Is that what the meeting with Bill was for?
Oh.
It wasn't legal business.
Right.
So Alice was apparently also chased through the home and cornered in her closet, and she was shot in the head.
Oh my God.
After this, very shortly after the murder, Lee contacted a friend named Larry Burge. She told Larry she received an anonymous phone call saying that McClendon killed Alice. She requested Larry to report the information anonymously to the sheriff. She didn't want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
The sheriff did confirm that he received an anonymous tip with that information. The next day, Lee called Larry again and said, I got another anonymous phone call with more information. McClendon killed Alice and was seen with a white man. Now, McClendon was a black man.
Mm-hmm.
Was seen with a white man earlier that day. Lee recorded this phone call. She recorded all of her phone calls and made it seem like Larry, her friend, whom she was telling this to, was telling her the information anonymously. Trying to set it up. I got these phone calls and I recorded it. So she took it to the sheriff.
Wow.
Saying, I got this information from an anonymous caller and I took notes.
She's spinning it. She is getting ahead of the story.
You see it? You feel that sticky web?
Yeah, she's getting ahead of it. She's crafting the narrative. She is the master chef right now, using all the tools in her kitchen.
Yeah.
Wow.
So police did find out later that Lee took notes and the call was staged. They recognized the voice of the caller, who was the anonymous person reporting it, as local real estate agent Larry Burge. Of course, they brought him in and questioned him.
Right. Yeah.
Larry still had a handwritten script that Lee gave him to say this, and he gave it to the police. Now, handwriting analysis confirmed that the script was written by Lee.
Wow.
The notes that Lee made with the information in it were also corroborated by Hall's testimony and detailed information that only could have been known by someone who was involved in the murder. All of this occurred after she informed Hall she didn't have the money to pay him. So a couple days later, he's arrested. She's incriminating McClendon. They track down Hall. They do the florist. I'm pretty sure they went through the florist, where'd this note come from, blah, 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 and tracked it down that way. So they found Hall.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Hall's fuck, she said she was going to pay us. She didn't pay. I'm going to rat her out. Guess who else testified? David May, Lee's second husband.
He pissed off a lot of people.
He said he went through hell with her. And she was the type of person who can look at you in the eye and lie.
She's like a sociopath. She's just
blah.
Oh my God.
And now, when he testified, it was 11 years after she left him. May said his mother had told him that the good Lord will punish her. He shouldn't be so bitter. Because apparently he's pretty bitter still, 11 years later. But he was asked if he felt sorry for Lee. And he said, quote, no, she asked for it.
Wow. She heard him.
Yeah. So then Bill is arrested. Bill MacArthur, the husband, the lawyer, by the Pulaski County Sheriff's Office. He was marched before news reporters wearing handcuffs and then photographed wearing an orange prison jumpsuit. This is interesting, too. So Bill was released on $50,000 bond. They were gathering evidence, doing the investigation, and all of that was presented at 2 hearings. One of the hearings was a grand jury hearing for indictment. At one of the hearings, and it didn't clarify which one, so I'm assuming it's probably the grand jury hearing, Hall, who was arrested at this time because of his murder, he testified he never had contact with Bill MacArthur and that Lee was the only person he took direction from in the entire murder plot. This contradicted prosecution's version of events, who were prosecuting Bill for conspiracy to kill his wife. So detectives also testified they read page after page after page of Bill's initial statements. So right after Alice was killed, he's making his statements to the police. Apparently, there were some things that he said in there that suggested that he was guilty. Lee also testified at Bill's grand jury hearing. Mm-hmm. She said that Bill masterminded the entire plot and that he had blackmailed Lee to keep her quiet. She said Bill warned her repeatedly after her arrest. However, she did plead the fifth. Now, on the stand, when she's testifying at his hearing, she pled the fifth when she was asked what Bill had over her that made her stay quiet. She said, right to be silent. But what Lee did say next is that Bill had arranged to meet her at Hot Springs Motel and asked her to be a bag woman for a $20,000 murder payoff. Bill had told investigators that he did not meet Lee at a motel and had not been to a motel at all in that last month. Bill also denied ever having an affair with Lee. Now, of course, as you can imagine, there were allegations of it. But Bill was never indicted. The grand jury did not indict him. Apparently, there was a bit of a rift between the prosecutor and the judge, and the prosecutor dropped all charges against Bill.
What? Oh, God.
Yeah.
Shady.
This is a soap opera.
Yeah.
Now, a tearful and visibly shaken Lee was convicted on October 7th, 1982, for hiring Hall and McClendon to pose as florist delivery men and murder Alice. Deputy Prosecutor Chris Piazza said that Lee built herself into a frenzy to kill Alice, that Lee told her friends Alice was having an affair, and that Bill planned to leave Alice and marry her. So not only were she and Bill having an affair, he was going to leave his wife and marry her, but she also said that Alice was having an affair.
Right.
Alice is absolutely beautiful, by the way. I saw a picture of her. She was a nurse at some point because she's got the nurse's uniform on. Beautiful.
But Bill is denying this affair.
Bill's denying the affair. Lee is saying that there was one. Yeah.
I don't know if I believe Lee. She's working on recipes, the stories. She's working, she's spinning.
But for him, it's a perfect disaster.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. Interesting.
So, Lee, she was sentenced to life in prison without parole, and charges were dropped against her attempted murder from the bombing. So they just gave her the actual conspiracy to commit murder. During sentencing, prosecution described Lee as a spinner of webs, a woman who fashioned a tangled weave of lies and fantasy with help of a man who testified she contracted him to kill Alice.
When you describe it like that, it sounds good. I mean, it's not an insult. I'm just saying.
Now, Hall, because he was arrested, Yankee Hall, he pled guilty to first-degree murder charges. He did do a deal with prosecution, and he was sentenced to life in prison. The deal was to not get capital punishment. But he was sentenced to life in prison, and actually he died in prison in 2019.
Okay.
McClendon, the other man, who, honestly, from the things that I was reading, and this other, I don't know who actually pulled the trigger. I thought it was McClendon, but I think it had to have been Hall because McClendon, he went to trial, though. He was convicted of first-degree murder, and he was only sentenced to 20 years. So maybe it was Hall that actually pulled the trigger. But McClendon was released on parole in 2004.
Oh, wow.
Now, all the while, the Pulaski County Sheriff's Office is building another case, the murder of Roy Orsini.
Oh, I forgot about him. Oh.
On January 24th, 1983, Lee was charged. Now, mind you, she's doing life in prison without parole, but she was charged with first-degree murder, 1981 slaying. She went to trial again in 1983 for the murder of Roy. In a statement to Detective Larry Dill from the Pulaski County Sheriff's Office, he testified that Lee told him she found the murder weapon next to her husband the morning of his death, March 21st, 1981. And then blacked out.
That's a very different story.
Yeah. A Memphis hypnotist. Lee went to visit with Bill, by the way.
Oh, boy. Okay.
To allegedly help her locate the murder weapon before her grand jury investigation hearing that happened after Roy's murder. So the first grand jury investigation that she was part of. Dill also said that Lee was worried and blamed her daughter, Tiffany, who was 15 now.
No.
That might have killed Roy. Yeah.
Oh, she's bad. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. That's bad. Yeesh,
So
lady.
she was convicted originally for the murder of her husband, Roy, but it was overturned by the Arkansas Supreme Court on a technicality. She's still doing life in prison without parole.
Okay.
A retrial was possible, but by then, everyone, including the media, was weary of her, and she was just like left alone to serve out her life sentence that was handed out for murdering Alice MacArthur.
Mm.
She was one of the first inmates transferred to the McPherson unit near Newport in Arkansas when that prison opened in 1998, and that's where she died. She had a heart attack and died on August 11th, 2003. Now, allegedly on her deathbed, she told police that she found Jesus and wanted to clear the record and confess her sins.
Oh, boy.
So more than 2 decades after her husband was shot in cold blood in his bed, she admitted to pulling the trigger. But the confession didn't end there. She also admitted to plotting the murder of her lawyer's wife to get her out of the way of her own romantic relationship with Bill MacArthur. Now, Bill MacArthur died in Little Rock of natural causes. He did try to kind of like, from what I read, continue on with his life. But he died of natural causes on October 4th, 2009.
Oh, but he had to sit there for a little bit knowing that she spilled the beans, huh?
Well, there have been various speculations about Orsini's motives, including mental illness, sociopathic tendencies, imagined romances, money problems, influence of the soap opera style mentality of the time that manifested on TV shows like Dallas and Dynasty, and addiction to the drama and media spotlight. Lee ultimately told her fellow prisoners that Bill MacArthur was never her lover after all. He was, she said, totally unaware of her in the sexual sense.
I can see it. It's sad that he was innocent, but the burden of proof for his innocence was higher than hers. You assume that she's in. You don't assume the worst of her, but you assume the worst of him.
Yeah,
and he was innocent the entire time. His wife, he had to mourn his wife, who was ripped away from him, and this Black Widow was spinning story after story. She was in control this entire time of the narrative.
Yeah. Wow. She was. And the more she spun, the thicker it got, the deeper it got. I don't know. Maybe she did find Jesus. Maybe she got that off her chest.
I don't think Jesus wants her.
She's up there with the good Lord.
Dude's like, go downstairs. Downstairs. Oh my God.
So that is the Black Widow's Web, the story of the Orsini murders.
That is wild.
So you said you heard the name. Do you remember that story?
I remember when you said the sign, the florist, I remember that. Like I saw that on TV or something, but I didn't remember the story. Because there's another story that has something similar like that. Not as crazy as this one, but it's with that lady that was having an affair with the husband. She dressed up as like a big bunny with flowers, walked up to the door and shot the lady. Like, here's a basket of Easter egg, and boom, and she shot.
Oh,
I forgot. I gotta look that up. But
yeah,
I feel bad for Bill. He did not. I mean, put yourself in his shoes for 1 second, right? You're a loving wife and somebody takes your husband and then they accuse you of doing it. I would be like,
I mean, if the circumstances are right, but what it comes down to is it's not the truth. It's what you can prove.
Right. Maybe that's what the prosecutor realized. Like, holy shit, she's a friggin' pathological liar and I can't, it doesn't hold water. That's crazy. That's a crazy ass story.
Yeah.
Last episode, crazy ass story.
There's a lot of places that you can check it out. Check out the story. I mentioned in the beginning a book called Widow's Web. There is, so the other nugget, the Arkansas Democrat. Remember that's where I said she worked? They did a 6-episode podcast called The Orsini Tapes. Now, all of her interviews and all the interviews of witnesses or whatever, it was all recorded. And it was put into boxes that they call the morgue, and they dumped them all down there. 40 years later, somebody finds them and starts going through them. And bada bing, bada bang, there's a 6-episode podcast about Mary Lee Orsini. I started listening to some of it, but I'm like, I've not had the time to like really listen to it all. There's another book called Living in Little Rock. There's TV shows about her. She was on Snapped. Like, there's a lot of things out there about this actual story. Too much for me to filter through, but I thought I gave you the sexy stuff. I gave you the stuff that might stick like an insect in the web.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's wild. That's a crazy, she's a crazy lady.
Oh,
she's
yeah,
nuts.
for sure. But you said it, this is the last, I mean, we have our season finale, but this is the last episode of season 4.
Yeah.
My last episode. Yours was last week. Mine is this right here, right now.
Yeah. Wild. Oh my God. Well, thank you for doing that. That's a crazy story.
Yeah,
I don't think it was confusing at all. I think you did a great job lining it up.
Okay. Good.
All right. Good. All right. So we wouldn't dream of leaving you hanging. For more chilling details and twists, and there'll be plenty of other twists, I'm sure, in this case, please check out After That Crime Chat, only available exclusively on our Patreon.
And don't forget to follow us on our socials, especially in our in-between seasons. We're going to have some goodies going out. We're going to do some extras. We do bloopers, like our whole season blooper episodes, and we'll do videos, and we'll have a lot of good stuff on there. So make sure you do follow Crime Chat Net and Cat on our Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, X, Rumble. See what we got going on.
Yes, you want more chilling content and behind-the-scenes chaos? Become a VIP chatter to our Patreon. You'll unlock bonus episodes, bloopers, exclusive sneak peeks, and free merch. And yes, we have some criminal goodies in the works, so support the show. Fuel your obsession for the weird and the wicked, and join the Crime Chat Chatter crew in style.
And be sure, you gotta listen to our next episode. It is our season 4 finale, closing out with one more, Into the Unknown.
Creature feature?
Yeah, Into the Unknown. Do you know what you're doing yet?
No, do you?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Should we coordinate or just do wild cards? Like,
shit, let's wild
card it? Okay.
Yeah.
As long as we don't do the same story. That would be great.
I'll tell you what I'm doing.
Oh my God. Anyway, you don't want to miss it.
And we'll see you at the season finale Crime Chat. Bye.
Bye.